Today's deck tech is not your grandpa's Boros equipment deck. If you love solving puzzles or finding new ways to assemble different combos, then this is a dream deck for you. Today's commander is Koll the Forgemaster, bringing EDH combos on a casual budget. Koll the Forgemaster is a 2-mana, 1 red, 1 white, 2/2 legendary creature dwarf warrior that says, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. And creature tokens you control that are equipped or enchanted get +1/+1. Before we get into the fires of the Forge, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It goes a long way to supporting the channel, and with that out of the way, let's find out if this deck
it will kill.
Now, the important part of Koll's text is whenever another non-token creature you control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return it to its owner's hand. We are going to be pushing this to the absolute limit with sacrificing our creatures for value in the form of damage, card draw, or even mana. This deck is the Lament configuration before your opponents, because once you solve it...
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
The creatures are the backbone of this deck, and what leads us into a multitude of combos. Quick PSA, I'll cover the combos of the deck at the end of the deck tech, that way all the cards are known and I can better flesh out the combos without having to wait for cards in different categories. Thank you for your patience. For creatures, we keep it low to the ground, if not... Crimson Kobolds, Crookshank Kobolds, Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker, and Rograk, son of Roga, covers all of our 0-drop creatures, which are a key piece to one avenue of our combos. Fervent Champion helps get equipments onto itself for free, Fireblade Charger, another potential combo piece, and one of my personal favorite arts in the deck, next to Koll. It's okay, baby, I still love you. Impulsive Pilferer is mana neutral, so it is another pseudo-0 cost, as is Mere Moon Vessel and Skirk Prospector, which is a great sack outlet for both an infinite mana outlet or an infinite damage outlet. Universal Automaton is an honorary goblin. Ariok Steel Shaper helps with equipment cost, which will be a running theme because equipments become broken when they don't have an equip cost. Cathar Commando, great repeatable artifact and enchantment removal. Flame Scroll Celebrant is a good card, but the real reason we play him is for the back, which is Revel in Silence. This gives us a clear shot to execute our combo without our opponents casting pesky removal or interaction. Goblin Cratermaker can be both creature removal and colorless permanent removal on top of just being sacrificed for Skirk Prospector mana. Reckless Barbarian is again another net 0 mana creature letting us string damage combos together. Relic Seeker helps grab any equipment we need if we can get in for some damage. SRAM Senior Edificer won't grind maximum value but does incrementally draw us cards just by existing, and also can be seen as a threat, so maybe our opponents will waste removal on him. Stonehaven Outfitter is the real draw for this deck.
Boo! You stink!
Okay, I'm sorry for that one. Our creatures will be dying and coming back to our hands, so this card can draw anywhere from 1 card to your entire deck. Foundry Inspector helps give us a small discount for our equipment's initial cost, but also can help in a few different combos. Goblin Matron is a linchpin of the deck, allowing us to grab any of our goblins to go into Skirk combos. Hissing Iguanar helps us win the game with all of our sacrifice stuff. Spiteful Prankster is another card that turns our net 0 creatures into damage dealers while we play them. And Riddy Roastmaster is again a combo piece for dealing damage with our net 0 creatures, but unlike the last two, deals damage when the creatures come in instead of when they die. Astor, Bearer of Blades, can potentially grab an equipment piece from his ETB, but at worst he makes equipment cost 1, so with 1 reducer that becomes 0. And lastly, Thermopod helps us net mana as well as be a sack outlet. This leads us into our Sorceries, which is mostly card draw and a little reanimation. We need to be churning through the deck to get to the pieces we need to win, and the reanimation is in case those pieces get interacted with or end up in the graveyard. Faithless Looting is card draw. Done. Next, moving on. Infernal Plunge helps us ramp ahead a little bit and is also a one-time sack outlet. Cathartic Reunion is more card draw or ways for us to dump stuff to cheat into play, working around certain mana cost. Grape Shot is a great win condition with our net 0 creatures, allowing us to get an infinitely big storm count. Open the Armory lets us grab any of our pieces we need for the combo we are going for at that time. Reckless Harm, a new addition to the deck out of March of the Machine Aftermath, lets us search our library for an artifact, putting it into our hand, then discard a card at random, possibly dealing damage if we discard an artifact. Recommission hits just about everything in our deck, so if it's in the graveyard we can get it back. Rip Apart works as modal removal. Creature removal with the 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target artifact or enchantment. Thrilling Discovery is more draw, Angelic Purge for removal, and Reconstruct History does it all, gets back one of almost everything, essentially making sure any forgotten crumbs of potential combo pieces are returned for consumption. Sliding into our instance, we have Argivian Find, another way to get back artifacts we need, Swords to Plowshares for removal, Abrade for more removal, Calamity's Wake. This is the card you cast when you know the stuff in your graveyard is unimportant or you're going for the win and don't want to be interacted with. Disenchantment, Thrill of Possibility for card draw. Unexpectedly Absent can put something we need back on top of our library or bury something our opponents control in their library, depending on how much mana we dump into it. Forsake the Worldly is again more removal, but also has cycling to trade it in for a different card. Skywhaler's Shot, little extra removal to make sure our opponents don't get too out of hand while we set up. And lastly, Heartwarming Reunion, massive card draw, great for filling up your graveyard and digging deeper into your deck for combo pieces. The artifacts hold the other half of our combo cards, and it is through these that all the other combos get executed. Masterwork of Ingenuity gives us a copy of our best equipment, which again I'll cover at the end of the deck tech. Sigh of the Shinobi, equipment that attaches just for a creature entering, is great. Carnage Altar, if you generate infinite mana, it gives you something to do with it, or in a pinch, 3 mana to draw a card usually isn't a bad deal. Citizen's Crowbar, another way of dealing with our opponent's artifacts and enchantments. Mask of Immolation, one of my favorite cards in the deck and a phenomenal combo piece. Mortar Pod is the other, and it's a second copy of Mask of Immolation. Stormrider Rig, another equipment that works on ETB. Bladehold War Whip, a way to cheat on our taxes, making our equipment free to move around. Grafted War Gear, another great combo piece. Plate Armor can just be a free equip with other equipment out. Ronin War Club, another equip on ETB. Sculpting Steel enters as a copy of any artifact, including equipment. And Sunforger being able to unequip and cast an instant is great. Moving into our enchantments, of which we run only 4. Quest for the Holy Relic gets us an equipment directly to the battlefield and equips it. You can't ask for more than that. Spectral Steel isn't great when it's equipped, but when it's in the graveyard, it is a great way to recur potential combo pieces. Forging the Tyrite Sword gives us treasures as well as searches for an equipment when the last counter goes off. And Martyr's Cause just for some extra redundancy and a sack outlet. We run 1 Planeswalker in Nahiri, Storm of Stone, for removal and helping us get rid of that pesky equipment tax. Finally, the lands. Axgard Armory, with a little pay-in, gets another combo piece. Battlefield Forge, Buried Ruin. As is the theme with this deck, it's hard to keep a piece we need in the graveyard. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Furycom Snarl, 15 mountains, and 13 plains. Now as promised are the combos. This deck can end up attacking from many different angles to get the win. The first combo we are going to cover involves Mask of Immolation or Mortar Pod and Bladehold War Whip. This combo you need a 0-cost creature, Koll, and the above mentioned cards, as well as either a Masterwork of Ingenuity, Auriok Steel Shaper, Aster of Blades, or Sculpting Steel. Reducing the equipment cost on Mask of Immolation to 0 and a 0-cost creature, any of the Kobolds, Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker, Mere Moon Vessel, or Impulsive Pilferer, will let you sacrifice them with Mask to deal 1 damage, returning it to your hand because of Koll's effect, play it again, equip, and repeat the process until the table is dead. The second combo you can run with this deck uses Skirk Prospector, Fireblade Charger, Koll, and one of the equipments that attaches when a creature ETBs. You could also use Grafted War Gear because its equip cost is 0. Using Skirk Prospector, sacrifice the equipped Fireblade Charger for 1 red mana. Fireblade Charger will deal damage equal to its power to any target, then return to your hand. Using the 1 red mana you produced with Skirk Prospector, you play the Fireblade Charger and repeat this process until the table is dead. Third combo involves any net 0 creature that could sacrifice themselves, Skirk Prospector, Reckless Barbarian, an equipment that attaches on ETB, Koll, and either Hissing Iguanar, Spiteful Prankster, or Witty Roastmaster. Using the Skirk or the Barbarian, sacrifice them to produce the mana you need to cast them again. Cast them again with the mana they produce and the equipment will attach to them again when they ETB, and repeat this process until the table is dead. This combo can also be utilized by adding Grafted War Gear and any 2 net 0 creatures. By transferring the War Gear between them, you can do the same combo as above because the War Gear becomes a sack outlet. This last combo is a Storm combo, using any of the net 0 creatures that will essentially let you cast them for free and sacrifice themselves with Koll and an ETB equipment out. You can cast them an infinite amount of times. Then cast a Grape Shot, letting you storm off and win the game. This combo can also be applied to dig for certain pieces with Stonehaven Outfitter, drawing you a card each time an equipped creature dies. Be warned though, this is not an if, you have to draw the card, so at some point you will need to remove the Stonehaven Outfitter to not deck yourself. Also, through playing this deck, I have found multitudes of different combos that end up working really well together. This is what I mean by it's a puzzle. Things can just come together randomly, and the deck can combo off and win. The deck as of recording sits just under $25 and is perfect for anyone who might be interested in trying a combo deck. The upgrades are easy as well. There is another 0-drop Kobold in the Kobolds of Carekeep, just slightly more expensive than what the deck would allow. Mem Knight is another great 0-drop that we couldn't fit into the deck. Skull Clamp is a must. This will turn those 0-cost creatures into straight turbo card draw, and if you have something out that reduces equipment costs, you can do it all for free. To sculpt the perfect hand, or grab a Reliquary Tower, Thought Vessel, Spellbook, or a Decanter of Endless Water and keep everything. Just hope nobody wheels. Steel Shaper's Gift is expensive, but will go a long way to help with the consistency as well as an Enlightened Tutor. This deck also has a low CMC, so the new red Ad Nauseam, aka Dance with Calamity, would also be a good addition. Lastly, I would throw in a Silence and a Grand Abolisher as another way of insulating your combo to make sure no one can interact on your combo turns. Well, that's the deck with some upgrades. Be sure to comment your favorite card from the deck or a commander you would like to see built on a budget, and I'll catch you in the next one.